Hi, welcome to EthosCE demonstration. In this short video, we're going to talk about how EthosCE can help associations increase their member satisfaction, staff outcomes, and ultimately their association outcomes. Let's get started. What you're looking at is a stock version of Ethos. When we work with each association, we tend to match the look and feel with the association main site. In this case, you can see that the URL of this association site has a subdomain for the main site. The look and feel will also match starting from the logos, the colors, and the fonts. You can also configure your homepage to have specifically the information that matches your learners' preferences. In this case, the use of imagery is really powerful. Learners can easily search for activities based on format, disease, or topic area. Of course, from your perspective, your association can decide what these disease areas should be and the topic areas should be. Once the learner has decided the topic of interest, let's say head and neck in this case, the learner can then look for all activities that satisfy a certain category, in this case, head and neck cancer. They can select the activity of choice and then navigate to the landing page of the activity, where the learner can see the target audience, learning objectives, faculty information, accreditation, and finally enroll into the activity. At this point, if your site is integrated with your association management system, they can log in via their member ID or the non-member ID. Ethos will then be able to retrieve the member information and then assign a profile to the learner. Including with the profile, the system can also identify whether the person is a member or a non-member. And that will automatically identify what pricing the logged in learner would be seeing. A few other examples of activity types could be course bundles. Course bundles is a neat way of organizing multiple related content together so that you can provide a learning pathway to your learners. In this case, there are multiple courses that are bundled together as a combined unit that your learners can take. You can have pricing at the parent level or at any of these child courses level as well. Alternatively, you can just have pricing at the parent level. Ethos has several other options for creating bundles. This is an example where you can have a yearly subscription with all the popular courses strung together and then sell it as a product. Another popular use case is to have yearly webinars where your learners can subscribe to your yearly webinar series and get all the webinars as a part of the subscription. Let's get focused on one of the activities and see how the learner experience is going to be. Once the learner has completed the purchase, the learner can then navigate to the activity landing page, which will formally have a button that the learner can click to enroll into the activity. Once the learner has enrolled into the activity, the learner has multiple options to complete and claim credit and certificate for that activity. In this case, the learner can go through the directions, complete a pre-assessment for benchmarking his or her learning, participate in a webinar. Ethos has inbuilt integration with Zoom and GoToWebinar so that your administrators don't have to download the attendance information from these providers. The integration will ensure that Ethos can pull in those enrollments once the webinar is completed. Similarly, you can also upload monographs or other kinds of learning material as a part of Ethos. Once the webinar is completed, if you're using Zoom, Ethos also has an option to automatically convert the Zoom recordings and push them into a video library. It also has closed caption options where the system will automatically do closed captioning with an accuracy of 80 to 95%. The cool thing about closed captions is it allows learners to search within the video so that they can easily retrieve a talk about a certain topic area that was spoken at a certain time during the webinar. In this case, I just went to a 1.5 minute because that's where my topic of interest was discussed. The system can also track the amount of time that the learner spent watching the video and define when the next button should be available. In addition to that, Ethos also supports SCORM 1.2 and 2004. It assumes that you're using an authoring tool of your choice, could be Lectora, Camtasia, etc. Once the learner has completed the learning material, the learner can then complete the post-test. It could be restricted by the number of attempts or a pass percentage. Once the test is completed, the learner is presented with feedback and can also benchmark his or her performance with others. The benchmarking is available at a question level or at a quiz level or ultimately at a topic area level. The last component that the learner can complete could be an evaluation which will have common terms such as a grid question, a Likert scale, radio button, checkboxes, etc. You can also have a follow-up evaluation in the form of commitment to change, where you can specifically ask your learners to document the commitment that they would like to make. These commitments can also have personalized follow-ups so that the learner can be sent a reminder at a frequency that he or she desires. Once these are completed, the learner is then awarded a credit and a certificate that will be matching the credit. Ethos comes with a pre-built list of 50 credit types. You can also add more credit types as a part of the platform. That's the learner view of the platform. This is the learner's transcript. Now let's move on to reporting. Ethos reporting is based on Looker, which is a business intelligence platform. This gives associations the ability to pretty much slice and dice data to any level of granularity. There are about 30 plus dashboards available. Let's look at a couple as a part of this demo. This is an example of an all courses dashboard that will give me key matrices about how my learners are completing courses, the kinds of credits they've been awarded, and then a demographic distribution of the learners. You can also drill down by a particular state and find out specifically which city your learners are coming from. This way you can also see specifically where your demographic population is located. A cool thing about these reports is the ability to filter the reports by user profile fields or course fields. In addition to that, these reports can be scheduled to be sent to people at different frequencies. Alternatively, you can download them as a PDF or a CSV. All in all, there are about 30 plus reports, 30 plus dashboards available, more than 60 reports in EthosCE. Let's move on to accreditation reporting. If you're a healthcare provider, Ethos has several accreditation management reports, such as an automated report to ACCME, JA Pars, CPE Monitor, CE Broker, and MOC credits. The last portion of the demo is the ability to relicense your content. This is a pretty popular feature where you can relicense your content to another society or a health system or another organization that's looking for content that you specialize in. As a part of relicensure, you can also sell and take a subscription fee from these organizations and use this as a key revenue factor. I hope this demo was helpful in giving you an overview of how Ethos can potentially increase your learner satisfaction, staff satisfaction, and association outcomes. Thank you for listening.